Okay, I'm so excited. Like I said, Kalee is our speaker. If y'all don't know, her and her mom are like the first mother-daughter elite team of Beachbody. They're a two-time elite. They both went elite in 2015. Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay. Um, Kim is 6-star, and Kalee, you're 5-star, right?
Yes.
Okay, and they are both amazing. Her mom is in Hawaii right now, so don't feel too bad for her. And but yeah, Kaylee's our speaker, and I'm so excited. She's speaking on how to find your target audience and what to do when you do, and all of that awesome stuff. So I will shut up and let you speak.
All right. Let's see. So I'm really excited to be on the call. I'm going to pull up my notes like a good little girl. And I'll just tell you, I'll go ahead and send these to Margot too after the call because it gets kind of long. But the very first thing with your ideal client is I have to tell you that if you're willing to follow your ideal client and, do these little steps, it's going to save you like so much of your sanity. And it's also going to save you like time, frustration, and it's going to help your team culture and your like challenge group culture. And that's because you're not going to have those people that are like halfway in or like, they're like, oh, I don't really know about this. I don't really see the value in that. And you're not going to have any of those people because you're really going to be speaking to the people that are just like you, and they're going to see the values just like you do in the products and Shakeology and all of those things. So that's why it's important that you focus in on your target market. Sorry, I'm gonna move my notes over so I can actually see y'all like while I'm talking because it's weird not to. So the other thing is you've got to start asking questions in order to figure out who your ideal client is. I told y'all this would save time, but it does take some time in the beginning to kind of figure out who your ideal client is. So you're gonna have to, put a little time in the beginning, and it'll save you a lot of time in the end. So the very first thing is I want you to ask yourself, who would make your job more enjoyable? Like what type of person would make it a lot more fun? You would wake up excited and you would go to bed feeling like so grateful and like so pumped that you helped this person. And then think about who would you love to help each day. And then the next one is who would benefit most from what you offer. And I know for me, when we first started, I answered all three of those questions. I knew exactly who I wanted to help, and I knew who I could, really help the most, all of those things. But I didn't ask this next question, and this is like key. Are those people mad? And MAD stands for they have the money, the authority, and the desire to buy. If they don't match those three things, then we got to go back to those three questions and restart it. When I started really thinking about my ideal client, I wanted to make it somebody that was young, like anywhere from like 18 to 23. So I was like, I got started coaching when I was 22. So I thought, oh, this would be perfect. But not every 22-year-old was like me. They didn't have the money, the authority, and the desire to buy. So I had to up my age on that ideal client. So consider that when you're planning out your steps and who you want to really target. And then one other thing that I really struggled with in the beginning was my ideal client and my coach the same person? And in my opinion, they should be. Because if you can find your ideal client, they're going to join a challenge group. They're going to see value in everything that you're doing. They're going to build that relationship and build the trust while you're going through the challenge group. And then they're going to turn into this amazing coach. Now, if you are focusing on like this person's going to be my ideal and this is going to be my coach, your message is going to get kind of lost because you'll be talking to two different types of people. So if you can target into just one person and take them along the journey of a challenge group and then to coach, you're going to have stronger people coming in, and your message and your content are going to be stronger because you're talking to one person versus two different types of people. Does that make sense? So again, the reason that we want to ask ourselves those questions is so that we do save time, we remain sane, and it saves you a lot of frustration because you're not going to have as many objections if you're creating really good content and relating to your ideal client, because they're going to see, oh, well, she felt just like me. She went through this and she just told me this is what I need. They're going to trust you because they followed you and you've talked to them. So having that system and your ideal client walk through it is going to help eliminate all those objections that you get, or people that just go quiet. You have a better, stronger connection with them. So 2 tips to your ideal client is the very first one is don't be afraid to go specific. you'll be amazed how many people will fall into your target market. Like even if you put in like a specific age, a specific location, and then you target it into only people that are like married, that have kids that are between the ages of like 9 months to 5-year-olds, like you'll be amazed how many people will fall into that category. And so we do.
I love that so much, because like that's one reason I created this group, was because I don't want my coaches to fall into the same trap that I did. Because for so long, you've told me that forever, but for so long I was like, well, I want to help this person, and I want to help people my mom's age, and I want to help this. And it's like I was afraid to really zero in on people like me, because I was like, there's not very many people like me. But then once I did do that, I was like, my team started growing more. I'm talking to so many more people like me. So I love that you said that.
Well, it makes a huge difference. And like Margo is a shining example, because like when we first started coaching, we would take anybody and everybody. And I can still tell you horror stories about that. And like, I don't feel like any of y'all are like coaches, like y'all are like my friends that are also coaches. And so when you really target into the people that are like you and get you, it makes a world of difference. And it actually makes it a lot more fun. And there's a lot of people out there that are just like you. And if they're not, maybe like, I can be like, my target market, might be moms and people without kids. But I can pick out like what I want to target. So I might go more specific in age and location. For me, I really want to be able to help people that are in rural, let's see if I'm just going to go country on y'all, rural areas, because there's not gyms. And if there is gyms, then they're all like full of like these catty women. And then, like I go in and I feel uncomfortable. So I want to help people that are like me, that don't want to go to the gym that's 30 minutes away when I can just work out at home. So I factor in location with mine. You can pick out anything that you want. Again, like Margo said, the more specific, the better. When you're doing like a Facebook ad, if you want to target your ideal client that way, and that's just one way, a good range is 250,000 to 1 million people. And there's like 1 billion people on Facebook. So that's, just even if you narrow it in to 250,000, that's a good little place to be. So we focus on gender, income, relationship, and also what their household looks like. When you're planning out who your ideal client is, think about, well, if they just had a baby, what would be a good message for that person? Really factor into what your ideal client's going to want to see. And the next thing is, this will help, when you're getting specific like that, is to picture somebody in your head that is your ideal client. And by picturing one person, you'll be able to create content like you're talking to that one person. You don't have to create content that you're just like blasting out to the universe and you're like, I got 500 Facebook friends and they're all going to see this and they're all going to like it because it's that brilliant. Like if you got that going on, then more power to you, but I sure don't. Like, so it really helped me to focus in on talking to one person. And that person can be totally fictional, or if you have somebody already on your team that you're like, this is who I want to attract. I want 20,000 Margos everywhere. You can act like you're just talking to Margo or Laura or, like whoever, Jordan or, whatever. You can pick out whoever you want and just talk to that one person every time you post a status, because if it relates to that person and you're targeting people like them, it's going to relate to all those other people.
I had them create an avatar.
Oh, cool.
Their perfect person. So that's like perfect.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So, and I have a list of the questions, but you might have already used like for the avatar, I don't know, but and this is what I can share like in the like by message too, but I came up with like 25 questions that you can ask to kind of create like who your ideal client would be. So give them a name, like your avatar, figure out their gender, where they live, their relationship status, and how that kind of factors in. If they're single, that means that their income per household might be lower than if they're married. Or, if it's complicated, I usually don't do complicated because that probably means they have a whole lot going on over here and they might not be making time for their health and they might have some complicated things going on. Think about their education level. Think about their household income and how it'll factor in single or married. Think about what kind of house they have. If you are promoting something like Core to Force, that we know there's going to be a plyo workout, you probably don't want to target people that are living in an apartment. That might just be one piece of your avatar that you take out while you're promoting that, because you don't want everybody jumping. Because if you're in an apartment, like they can't do that workout or they're going to have like some problems with it. So really think about each time that you're promoting something different, how it can affect just a little bit in your ideal client. which the apartment thing I never would have thought of, but we actually promoted. We had an ideal client. She was in Team Engaged, our accountability group. And then she was like, why in the world do I keep seeing all this about like turbo fire or something? I can't do that in my apartment because they fuss. And I never would have thought about it. Think about it. They have kids. They have kids. How old are they? How many do they have? And then one thing that I really just think is crazy, but think about like where they go grocery shopping. You know, somebody that goes into a Kroger or a Rouse is kind of a different person than somebody going into a Whole Foods. You know, think about how that factors in too, because you might go, I'm going to target the person that goes to Whole Foods. But if you don't know a whole lot about going to Whole Foods and that's not your jam, then you might want to target the Kroger people because that's who you're going to relate to better. And those Whole Food people might be like, I only go to hot yoga on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I only drink this green juice. I'm not drinking your Shakeology. So the person at Kroger trying to make the better decisions, you know, but needs some guidance might be somebody that you can relate to better. Think about where they buy their clothes. Think about what they normally buy. Are they buying health and fitness stuff already? Or are they buying more of like the low-fat diet foods that, you know, we've learned are processed and can cause all kinds of health problems? Think about what is it that they're buying and also what they're shopping for online. So what websites are they going to daily? And I actually asked that one on my Facebook page as I was creating my ideal client because I knew the people I wanted to target, but I didn't know where they were going to shop online. So I asked. Think about their strengths and their weaknesses. And then think about what kind of values they look for. Because if you know their strengths and you know their weaknesses, you're going to be able to create something that says, hey, I know how you feel. I was there. This is what, you know, like I felt like when I got started, and this is what I found to be true. So you can relate on so many different levels if you'll go ahead and figure out where they need help. And then you can also brag on them more when you know their strengths. And that's going to encourage them and, you know, really build that relationship. Another thing is their values. Our target market at the beginning, there was a girl I went to high school with, and I was like, she would make an amazing coach. She's so nurturing and everything else. And then she actually signed up to coach. She approached me, so my content was good. And then we got to talking on the phone one night, and she was like, I just can't post any of those belly posts that you do. Like, how in the world do you post your belly? I never thought anything about it. But like, because I consider myself more on the prude side than the other side. And so I just had no clue that was something that my ideal client might not want to see. I thought I was showing progress. And then in reality, it was scaring them into joining a challenge. Well, what if I have to post that? Or, you know, scaring them into coaching. Well, I can't coach because I'm not willing to do a sports bra and, you know, leggings. So think about those kind of values when you're factoring into your content and your posts, because something as, you know, little as that can really have a big effect on your ideal client. The next thing is to figure out what kind of problem that you can solve with them. So that goes back to wherever you think they're struggling. It doesn't have to be health. It doesn't have to be fitness. It could be like somebody, I think Pilot posted about it yesterday. She did a Facebook video, and she was just asking for tips about how to put her kid to bed, because as they moved, they had a whole lot of crazy stuff happen in the summer, and now they're getting out of bed like 50 times. And like they just don't have any time by themselves. So she was asking for help and saying, hey, what's your bedtime ritual? Well, not 6 months ago, before all this stuff happened in their lives, she was sharing tips on like what to, you know, put in the crock pot to, you know, like share with her audience, because she knew that they were busy moms. And so she's always kept the same kind of problems. And whenever she's found a tip, she shared it. And then when she needs help, she's also willing to say, hey, I'm not perfect. What's going on? Do you have a tip for me? And you can tell that she's done a really good job with her ideal client list, because she's actually getting interaction both ways. Like it's saying like, oh my gosh, this is helping me. Or, hey girl, this is what I've been doing. And like they sleep like all the way through the night or whatever. Also figure out what they like to do at night. Like what do they do for a date night? And figure out how you can kind of incorporate that. And it could be an incentive. It could be figuring out if they like to go out to eat. Maybe it's giving them a healthy fast food guide. Or, you know, like this is the best thing to get at Carrabba's. This is the best thing to get at, you know, Fleming's, whatever their budget is. Then you can kind of show them like the healthier choices. They can still indulge, but they're not going crazy. Figure out what their typical day looks like, because that's also an opportunity for you to kind of like jump in there and say, hey, you know, like you don't have to be perfect. We just did this new meal plan. It's in Sweat Nation now, so you can use it. But we called it the 90-10 plan. And it's actually more like what Mom and I eat all through the year, and then we'll tighten it down like when there's an event or something. But basically we were just like, we know a typical day for you looks, and not everybody has time to make all of these fancy little recipes and pack 6 meals. So we're going to give you a 90-10 plan where you get to eat 90% healthy and 10% you get your wine at the end of the night because things get hectic. And then had like Amy's burritos that you can stick in the microwave and eat. The breakfasts, there was like peanut butter toast and banana, because we knew those were simple things. And our ideal client is looking for that versus how to get 6-pack abs only eating chicken breast and broccoli. And so while, you know, somebody that's not our ideal client might be like, you're eating unorganic oats, like, oh my gosh, you had a banana, that's like the Snickers bar of fruit. Our ideal client is going to be like, oh my gosh, this rocks. So don't worry about if you offend somebody or that you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. That's okay. You want to make sure that you are your ideal client's like go-to person and they feel like you really connect with them. So really figure out like your content, your free groups, all of those things should kind of go together and create like a cohesive piece. I feel like Ricky Bobby, if y'all have ever seen him, like my hands keep creeping up. Like, put your hand. So you can always do stuff like that to kind of like mix in a little bit more about coaching. Think about if they are taking the bus, like what does their walk look like back and forth? I walked a ton when I was going to college because I took the bus to school. So, you know, factor that in. Maybe you offer them a strength program or what they could do on their walk to make it a little bit harder. And then you'll also want to figure out how to convey your message to him or her. So we've talked a lot about, you know, how you want to talk to them and like how they relate to the stuff that you're wanting to talk about and the relationship that you're building. You have to figure out how you want to talk to them too. Do you want to talk on Snapchat where they feel like very casual? Do you want to go with Facebook because it's just where everybody is? If your target is like 25 to 55, 65, they're on Facebook and they know how to use it pretty well. You don't have to worry about not that many people being on there. If you want to target on Instagram, that person is probably going to be really into very aesthetically pleasing pictures and food and all of those things. I personally could care less if my picture looks pretty or if it looks like crap and the lighting's a little bit off. So Instagram is really not my place. But my ideal client isn't on Instagram either because she doesn't have time to be making sure that her lighting is perfect either. And she's not really worried about like her outfit. You know, she might have on sweatpants and a sweatshirt like me. So figure out what it is that how you're wanting to convey your message and what place that's going to be and is your ideal client there. Because if you don't have the right place for your ideal client, then you might just get crickets. Another thing is to address their objections. You get them to a private message, you talk to them, they get to the point of like wanting to buy, they get the link, and then they're like crickets. So think about what you can do in the objections first. Like maybe you say, oh my gosh, when I first bought 22-minute hardcore, I just thought that was so much money, but now I'm so glad that I bought it. I'm in my 3rd round and it was the best money that I've ever spent. So I know a lot of us can relate with that with like 21 Day Fix. Like that challenge pack was expensive, but we've used it over and over again. And think about how they make decisions. So, you know, you might get to the point where you're in the conversation and they're ready for the link and you send it to them. You know, kind of think about your ideal client as a whole and think, all right, well, is she one to just like spontaneously buy it, or is she going to be like somebody that needs to ask her husband and ask more questions and that kind of thing? Because if if she's somebody that just spontaneously buys, then you need to make sure that your link is provided in a couple different places. So that way, if she gets a hankering for it, she has that link so she can go buy. And then so maybe you have it on an email list or something, or in a private group, in your accountability group, hey, we're starting with, 22-minute hardcore next month. Here's a link if you want to get it. But if she is somebody like our ideal client, she's going to research the crap out of that thing before she buys it. And so every time that I send a link, I'm like, now if you have any questions, let me know. Let me know when you've checked out, and I'll be able to check it on my side of things, so I can make sure everything went through, because she's very analytical. So kind of consider that. If I had posted links to, 22-minute hardcore where she would have been like, oh my gosh, she's freaking flipped her lid. So think about your ideal client and what they're looking for. Do they want the convenience, they're spontaneously buying something, or are they really wanting a relationship and knowing they can trust you and they're not trying to like manipulate them into a sale? Think about that as how you want to put out your links. And the next thing was just to make sure they have a plan. So you want to make sure that they get to know you, like the real you, and that you also know their goals and their needs. And know that those things are probably going to change, because when they first get started, they might need a little more confidence building. And then as they get started, they might, decide to coach. And then they're going to have all these new questions. So just be prepared for it to change and to have a process to guide them through. So the very first thing that we do with our ideal client is we get them in a free group. And that targets the whole thing. So like the million people that match my ideal client. And then we start getting to know them. We start talking to them. We're in private messages. We're in groups. And then we're able to target them for the 21-day challenge. And so we talk to them about that. Now, some people are going to like hop out at that point. They're going to say, I'm not ready for that. I thought this was just free. I'm done. But some people are going to continue on with you. And then from there, we host a really good challenge group. We build that connection. And then we invite them to the sneak peek. Again, not everybody from your challenge group is going to go there. But you have a system to guide them through, starting with the very basics of, their content, then the free group, and so on. And then the last little piece that I want to make sure that I hit on is mindset. And this was something that I think I would have skipped over even a year ago. But once you have your ideal client in your head, you have to believe that you are worthy of working with them. You aren't, just here to work with everybody. You aren't here to work with somebody that wants something for nothing. You have more value than that, but you have to believe it. You have to believe in everything that you do as a coach. You have the ability to help somebody find the right program, the right meal plan, and the right accountability to change their life. So if somebody's asking you for something and they have a different coach, or if that person's asking you for something for free and there's just no way, you need this, have the confidence to say, I'm sorry, work with your coach, reach out to them, or I can't help you with that. If you'd like to join my free group, you can, know that your time is valuable and worth, saying no to something, because you have so much value in helping the people that are willing to work with you. So work with the willing and believe in yourself, believe in the products. You have to know that if somebody tells you no, if they're your ideal client and you're really building that relationship and being genuine and wanting to be their friend and not just like wanting to be their friend so they'll get in a challenge group, that person's going to come back to you. So just know and believe that, you have this, you're targeting the right people and you're really working with them and you're building that connection and that following. They're going to come back and then it's all going to be worth it. So any questions on your ideal client and what to do with them? So we kind of hit on a lot of stuff about how to figure them out and all that. To make your brains explode?
That was awesome. It really was. That was so good. I took a whole lot of notes.
Okay, I see Liz had a question. So you find your ideal client all via forming. So this will change depending on where you are in your business. The first year that we coached, we found our ideal client by really hunting them down. So if you're on Facebook, that was where we started really. We focused all on like pages, going to Big Bang like page and talking about the episode that was just aired. So, and then when we would find people that we were talking to back and forth, that was somebody that had friends. We would also go into Facebook groups, and you can go into the paleo ones and, the Weight Watchers ones and stuff. And we did those. And we would get to be friends with a couple of, people in those groups, and those, could be your ideal client because they're related to fitness. But if you can find maybe one of those things like a Target group or a Nordstrom group for me would be perfect because that's where I shop. And that was my ideal client's place to shop. And we could share about deals and the anniversary sale and all that. I could friend those people, and usually those turned out to be the better ones. I also will use Instagram hashtags. Figure out a way that you can kind of find people and talk to them And then I just try to get as many people as I can on my feed. That way I can kind of talk to them there. And I will give them, like, every time I see like their status or whatever, I'll comment on it and I'll compliment them, and then I'll ask a question. So if it's a picture of a salad, I might say like, oh my gosh, that looks so good. What kind of dressing did you use? And so I gave, like, the comment was like, oh my gosh. And then, like, you know, it looks so good, it's a compliment. And then what dressing did you use is the question. And from there, I kind of start building that relationship. That way, when a free group rolls around, I can message that same person. It could be the very first message I ever send and say, hey, I know that you're into eating healthy too. You know, would you be interested in joining my 90-10 group starting on the 5th? And so that's kind of how we got started in the very beginning, was just really finding people on Facebook. I mean, I'm probably still part of like hundreds of groups, like fantasy football, because I play fantasy football. Anything I could find to pull people in, I pulled them in to my newsfeed, and then send them a birthday message, comment on their stuff, ask them questions, and that way you can, you know, jump into a private message with them. And that's where I'll form people. And then I would say by year 3, people also started coming to us because our content was so solid and it was constant and people could really relate to it. And we would do Facebook ads because we were making a little bit more money by year 3. So every time we had a free group or a really specific kind of post, even if it didn't promote anything, we would go ahead and boost it and it would get more people to like our stuff. And that really helps. So as you continue on creating content and really getting good at it, you'll have people coming to you too. And then you can do the same thing, the comment, compliment, and ask. Does that help? Anybody that tells me you can't eat a banana, just thank my ideal client. Any other questions? Do y'all have a good idea of who your ideal client is? That's good.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kalee. My thing just came up and said that it's about to charge me if I keep going. So I wanted to see if you can get on, because we want to see your pretty faces, then get on, and I want to take a screenshot of the computer. So if we can see your, oh, Amanda, there you are, girl. Marley, I was literally just looking at a Pinterest recipe on how to make healthy Snickers with bananas. All right, I'm going to take a screenshot. Oh, there she is. There's Marley. Okay, Command-Shift-4. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, Liz, can't see your pregnant belly. All right, Command-Shift. Ready? Got a smile. Oh, I hope that worked. I don't think it did. Okay, one more time. I'm sorry. Okay, Command. Ready? Oh, that one worked. I heard it.
Hey.
Oh, you're blocked.
Well, Liz has been a bad girl. What's she been doing on the Zoom?
For real.
Gets me in trouble with the ideal clients, but y'all know I'm just crazy.
All right. Oh, there she is. All right, we'll do another one. Stacy, get on here. I know you were earlier. All right. Command-Shift. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, Kalee, thank you so much for being on here. I really appreciate it, and I know all the girls did too. They were super excited. I felt real official announcing you on our page today. Like, did your picture and everything. So I really appreciate it.
Like a celebrity.
I know. I felt like so cool doing it. But I think, you know, that's it for tonight. And I really appreciate it. And I will see all of you girls in the group for the rest of the time. And I'll see y'all later. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Anytime. All right. Bye, y'all.